Awesome. Hello, everybody. Today, going to be putting together a quick video on Warmly's AI Prospector tool, essentially our auto email tool that's going to let Warmly automatically find and email or add the sequence key ICP personas at key ICP accounts of yours that are visiting your website. So we're going to start at the beginning, walk you through everything that you need to know, everything that you need to know how to do to get this set up, and then some Warmly suggestions about how to make this work properly and well for you guys. A couple things to note first off. One, we have some setup guides here in the Warmly Help Center, help.warmly.ai, for AI Prospector in the Warmly platform here. Anyways, if you didn't know, we have a bunch of Help Center articles here, but one of them in particular is called Outbound AI Prospector. You'll see the setup guides here. And so whether you're using Apollo, Outreach, SalesLoft, or HubSpot to sequence, you can do that all with Warmly and AI Prospector. And the setup guides are right here too. So another piece of collateral that's going to be helpful to you to get this set up. Anyways, let's jump into it. Cool. So in the Warmly dashboard here for Warmly, ops.getwarmly.com, we have our AI Prospector little sub tab down here under the settings tab. We're going to be using that tab. We're going to be using the segments tab and the personas tab mainly. And then we're also going to be doing some testing and some playing around in the warm accounts tab up here. So let's start here and let's start high level. AI Prospector. What are we doing? I'm going to go ahead and create a new workflow. Obviously, Warmly uses our own tool, so we've got a bunch of workflows set up and running right now. And for all of these videos, I'm going to just do Playbook at the beginning, so you can keep tabs on that. Everything I'm doing here with regards to this playbook is called Playbook. So Playbook, let's do sales, or let's just do, for the sake of this, let's do engineering leadership. So what we're doing is we're making a workflow because we want to sequence engineering leadership. So when companies come visit our website, we at Warmly, we don't really, but let's say we sell to engineering leadership. And so those are the type of people we're going to want to be emailing or adding to sequence. And what Warmly typically recommends here is starting at the sequence. So basically working up from sequence. So we know, okay, we at Warmly want to sell to engineering leaders. And so we have a sequence in place in Outreach, because Outreach is where we send emails through. And let's say that this one is called engineering leaders. Let's see if we have anything for engineering. We don't. Let's say this one is called Max Project. Scribble Founders is our engineering leadership sequence. This is the sequence that we already have that the Warmly has been using for a long time to email engineering leaders. So we can select that. And let's say we want these emails to come from our head of sales, Keegan. We'll click done. So we have our sequence in place. So, okay, we've got this workflow together. We're going to be emailing engineering leadership, and we're going to be sequencing them through this engineering leadership email sequence that we have set up using Keegan as our sender. Great. So now we can come up here and we say, okay, what segments do we want to apply so that we are filtering for our company ICP? Because remember, segments is basically filters for company level ICP, and personas are essentially filters for individual level ICP. So let's go into segments and let's create a couple of typical ones. Playbook. First, let's start at employee count. You can slow this down, but I'm doing employee metrics. Company metrics employee is greater than or equal to, let's say, 25. Company employee metrics is less than or equal to, let's say, 500. We'll apply an and, has to be between these two. Great. There's one segment that we care about. We're basically trying to filter for ICP. We also sell to tech companies. So let's say Playbook, company in tech. We've got our, let's do industry is any of internet, software, and technology. Going back to our help center, let's just double check ourselves here. We've got a whole help center on segments. We got one that's how to build a segment company industry. And in this one, we've got all of the sector, industry, and sub-industry categories. Let's go to tech. Here we go. We want these guys. So the way to build this if you're selling to tech companies is internet software and services at the middle level, which is the industry level, sector, industry, sub-industry. So category industry is any of internet software and services. Perfect. Let's add another one. Let's say that we also want to do just US companies. So US headquartered companies, Playbook, company HQ'd in US. So we'll do geo country equals United States. Also do is any of if we wanted, and let's do United States, Canada, comma Canada. Do that instead. One that we typically recommend here and what most customers want is they'll do Playbook, filter out either ops, like late stage ops, or customers. So let's just do customers, filter out customers. This is going to be based on your CRM integration. So assuming that you have your CRM, Salesforce or HubSpot integrated. And now we'll go to CRM opportunity, type in stage. Stage is not in, and it'll find our stages. Let's go ahead and search one. So what we're really trying to do here is we care about our sales pipeline, and we don't want these to be closed one. Let's actually just get rid of all of our closed one and all of our different pipelines. We don't want any customer who's in any of our closed one pipelines to be emailed. Great. So we're filtering out customers. You could do this for any of your opportunities, right? If you wanted all opportunities filtered out, you could select them all. If you only wanted to leave closed lost, you could select them all except for closed lost. So a bunch of stuff you can do here, but filtering out customers is not in any of these guys. Great. What other stuff do we typically recommend here? We'll typically say filter out company traffic. This is probably going to be a pre-built segment for you. And it'll probably be called filter company traffic, but I'll show you how to build it here. Filter out warmly traffic. Company domain is not in. You just do warmly or warmly.ai. It doesn't really matter. It contains. Let's do warmly. Great. And then we also might want to do like filter out competitors. So you don't email your competitors. So filter out competitors. And the really easy way to do this right now is to do the same way as with warmly. So domain is not in. Let's just say Clearbit, comma, drift, comma, whatever. We just leave it as those. So it's not in these guys. Great. So those are going to be the segments that we're applying at the company level. Let's go into personas. Let's do Playbook. We're going to build these off of titles. We want engineering leadership. That's who we're trying to sell to right now. So let's do CTO, Chief Technology Officer. And remember to include your seniority in the title. So CTO, Head of Technology. Let's do Head of Engineering. Let's do Director of Engineering. Let's do VP of Engineering. Let's do Vice President of Engineering. Right. And then let's also select email. This is important. Let's select email and make sure it's known so that we're only finding people with known emails so that we can add them to sequence because we're going to need their email to do that. So title, email, good to go. Great. A couple things to note. So one, I think I brought this up before. You're going to need to have your HubSpot or Salesforce connected, either or, in order for us to be able to find your companies that are in deal stages for you guys. So like your closed won customers, etc. So that's going to be an important piece of this, not vital, but important if you don't want to email customers or late stage opportunities. Okay, so let's go back to Add Prospector. Let's go ahead and apply these. So we've got our segments. I'm actually going to refresh my page here. We've got our playbook. We'll apply all of our playbook segments and make sure there's an and. So we're saying all these need to be true. Let's apply our playbook engineering leadership persona. So we want to find 4 prospects, and we'll use our Apollo prospector because we have Apollo set up for persona enrichment. You can also use Warmly's prospector if you're on a plan that allows it. If you're not sure, feel free to reach out to your CSM. And then we'll optimize based on visitor location. What this is essentially saying is that if Warmly has noticed that a lot of traffic from a company that we found is from, let's say, San Francisco, we're going to optimize the personas that we find that we might email to be based in or around San Francisco. Great. Okay, so this is all set up, and now I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on. Now, I'm not actually going to turn it on, but you would just select this, and then we'd be up and running, and then at the very bottom, you'd be able to see the prospects added and the workflows that are completed every time that it's updated. Now, let's go back high level. So what we're saying, workflows are on hourly. So we're saying that every hour, Warmly is going to find all of the companies that have visited your website that we've identified that fit these segments. Essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to find the companies that are in your ICP, not customers, not your own company, and not your competitors. And we're going to essentially create a list every hour. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and using Apollo or whatever, you can use Warmly's Prospector if you're paying for it. Apollo Prospector, we're going to come out with more integrations. So, but for right now, we're saying using Apollo, go and find 4 prospects that fit this persona. So go and find 4 engineering leaders at each of those accounts that we found that fit our ICP at the account level, and automatically add them to a sequence that you already have set up. Very, very simple, but very powerful. Essentially what this is letting you do is totally hands-off. You don't have to go into Warmly at all. Warmly is ingesting the data at your ICP at the company level and individual level, and we're automatically, for you, while you sleep, while you're doing other work, finding people that you want to email at accounts that you want to reach out to, and we're automatically enrolling them in a sequence of your choice. Totally hands-off. Now, one important note here for sequence. We have a lot of customers ask us, should we make a new sequence just for this? Should we use a sequence that we already know works, emailing this ICP? So in this case, emailing engineering leadership, we already have a sequence that works well. The Warmly suggestion is, well, it's a little convoluted, but kind of a mix of speed, but also quality, and using something that works. So right off the bat, we'd probably recommend using a sequence that you already have in place for this persona. So if you're successful in emailing engineering leaders using a pre-built sequence, go ahead and funnel this in. But then in time, what you can do is start doing some A/B testing with some Warmly sequences. So you can create some sequences specifically for your Warmly ad prospector, and you can play around with messaging. For example, like recognizing that someone was on our website. So it might make sense to email people at these accounts and say, hey, saw that we've had a bunch of traffic over the past several days or past week from your colleagues visiting our website. Here's probably why, and here's why you should care. So you can send messaging like that, in addition to kind of your basic messaging, your tried and true that is known to work for that persona, for that ICP. Anyways, hopefully this has been a pretty good high-level detail of how to use AI Prospector, our auto email tool, to send emails automatically to ICP individuals at ICP accounts visiting your website. One more thing I'm going to show you is some manual testing you can do on your end. I know that we've been going for 14 minutes here, so if you're not interested in some of the manual testing, that's okay. But what you can do while you're setting this up is, let's say you wanted to know the types of accounts that this would have been sent to, and the types of people that this would have been sent to through Warmly before you start sending these emails. What we're probably going to do in the very near term is build this into the product somewhere on this page. But for the time being, and might be helpful just kind of generally to know, you are able to do this process manually within Warmly. And I'll show you how to do that. in the Warm Accounts tab, what you can do is apply those same segments. So I can apply these Playbook segments. Make sure I have an and toggle here. So we're saying all of these things need to be true for it to show it to us. Now I'm seeing a bunch of accounts. And what I can do is I can go into one of these accounts, let's say Quantum. Anyways, and that list there were the accounts that would have been emailed, right? Because they all fit the segments that we applied in the AI Prospector. So I can click into one of them and I can go to prospects. We can just use Warmly's Prospector right now. Let's find up to 10 people. Okay. And now I can apply the persona that we made. Let's do the Playbook Engineering Leadership. And let's see if we would have found any people to email at this account. We would not. Through Warmly's Prospector, we would not have found any engineering leadership. So we would not have emailed anyone at this account because while it fit at our company level, and AI Prospector would have added it to the list of companies to email, we would not have found any engineering leadership at this account to email. So it would have moved on. Let's go ahead and see if we can find an account that it would have found someone. I'll just start at the top. Once you have it applied, it'll automatically work. Now I just X'd out of it, I know. But so it wouldn't have found anyone at Phoenix Commerce either. Let's go ahead and take a look at Shape Software. Wouldn't have found anyone there. Let's see if it would have found any sales leaders or sales reps. I just wanted to find someone so I can show you what this would look like when it does. But for now, probably nothing for these guys. Try Groove. Let's try using Apollo. All right, so with our Apollo Prospector, our Apollo integration, what it would have found is this person, Vizwana, a platform engineering and workflow head at Groove. And so this would have fit the persona, Playbook engineering leadership, could email them, and a sales development rep. This would have fit the persona ICP sales reps, so they would have been added to a different Prospector workflow. Let's go ahead and look at one more using the Apollo Prospector. Take a look at audience view. Great. All right, so for audience view, Apollo would have found the VP of sales, the ICP sales leaders, but for the one we care about, the director of engineering and the director of software engineering. I love both of those based on our persona we built, and so they would have been emailed if this workflow is turned on in our workflow. Hopefully that makes sense, just a way to kind of manually take a look at who would have been emailed. But again, this will all happen automatically if we just turn this workflow on. And what I just showed you, that kind of manual way of checking, is probably going to be added to our tool in the near term, somewhere over here on the right-hand side. So you will automatically be able to see the types of accounts and the types of people that would have been emailed or that will be emailed when you set this up. Okay, I'm going to end it here. It's been 19 minutes. If you stuck around for the whole time, awesome. Feel free to reach out to the Warmly team with any questions. But hopefully this will help you understand why our AI Prospector auto email tool is so valuable and how you can get value out of automatically emailing ICP personas at ICP accounts, visiting your website, totally hands off. Cool. Thanks.